Hello, good morning, or good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, and welcome to our reading mini lesson. So I'm going to read this story to you. There's a little bit of a glare. The story is called The Have a Good Day Cafe, and the author is Frances Park and Ginger Park, and the illustrations are by Catherine Potter. What do you notice about the title words? Each word is a different color, isn't it? The boy in our story is Mike. The woman is his grandma, who came from Korea to live with Mike's family in America. What are they doing together? How do they seem to feel? I know there's this little glare. So it looks like they're eating together, and if you look at their faces, they have little smiles on their faces. It looks like they feel pretty comfortable and pretty happy. As I read this book, pay attention to how the authors and the illustrator let us know Mike's worries. Because Mike worries during this story. Watch how the character's feelings change from the beginning until the end as well. All right? The Have a Good Day Cafe. So I'm going to read this story to you. And I'll ask you questions as we go, and I'll have a couple of questions for you on Seesaw. But the other big activity we're going to be doing is beginning, middle, and end. So we are going to be retelling stories this week, and I'm going to show you how to do that with this book. So that is our skill focus, retelling a story using beginning, middle, and end. Okay, the Have a Good Day Cafe. Grandma's in the kitchen making a big pot of rice soup. After helping Mom and Dad hitch our food cart to the back of the van, I'm so hungry. I say. The gook bop smells good. Grandma says back. Delicious. Last spring, Grandma came to America to live with us. We speak mostly in Korean, but Grandma's also learning some English. Her favorite words are hi, bye, and delicious. Daybreak is beautiful here, just like it is back home. Grandma murmurs as she stirs the soup. Every morning as the sun rose over the rice fields, I would cook delicious food for my whole family. Grandma sighs. How I miss my country. I know, Grandma, I say. When you were outside, you reminded me of your father when he was 7 years old, Grandma tells me. He would help me carry sacks of rice and vegetables home from the village market. I feel sorry for Grandma, always daydreaming about the past. The faraway look on her face means she wishes she were back in Korea instead of here with us. Help me put breakfast on the table, Mike, Grandma says. One by one, I carry 4 steaming bowls of gook bap to the table. The wonderful smell of the soup fills the apartment. You're the best cook, Grandma, I say. Grandma winks at me. You're the best helper, Mike. So we're in the beginning of the story right now, and right now we know that there's a boy named Mike and his grandma's from Korea, and it looks like they like to spend time together talking, and they like to spend time together eating and cooking. After breakfast, Dad says to Grandma, Amoni, we must go now. Today, Grandma says, I'm going too. Amoni, Dad says, frowning. It's going to be a hot day. You should stay home and rest your feet in this cool apartment. I did not travel 10,000 miles just to stay home and rest my feet day after day. I am tired of resting my feet, Grandma insists. Why do you think Grandma doesn't want to stay in the apartment? Do you think maybe she's getting bored? That's what I think. We're off to the city. The streets are bustling with cars and trucks and people going to work. The sun shines brightly over the tall buildings. The clock tower high in the sky chimes 7:45. Mom and Dad set up our food cart at our usual spot on a block that surrounds a park. This is a very busy corner, Dad assures Grandma as he sets down her straw mat on a grassy spot under a shade tree. We have it all to ourselves. By lunchtime, there will be a parade of people on the sidewalk, Mom adds. You can see the signs that says hot dogs, pizza, and soda. Mom and Dad balance the big umbrella that springs open over the cart before going to work preparing the food. Bagels and orange juice for breakfast, hot dogs, and pizza for lunch. Pretzels and popcorn. These are my favorite American foods. I take out my crayons and draw a giant slice of pizza. Grandma studies my picture with wide open eyes. Mike, what are those funny red circles? She asks. Pepperoni, I say, giggling. I love pepperoni. When your father was small, his favorite food was mandu, Grandma says. I would hold a hot, steaming dumpling up to my lips and make a smile with it. How he would laugh and laugh. I laughed too, thinking about a dumpling smile, but I wish Grandma wouldn't daydream about the past so much. Taxis honk their horns while noisy buses drop off and pick up passengers. A few people stop for bagels and orange juice. Soon, 2 other carts set up near our corner. Those carts serve the same foods as our cart, Grandma says with a frown. Why are they here? I ask. This is our corner. Mom and Dad exchange worried looks. I guess the city's allowing other food carts here now, Dad says. Grandma fans herself and watches the morning pass. I'm having fun drawing letters in the colors of Grandma's fan. I hold up my pictures for her to see. I love Grandma, I read. Grandma hugs me. I love Mike, she says. By noon, a small line forms at our food cart. One customer orders some chips and a soda. Have a good day, Mom says as she hands the man his change. A second customer orders a hot dog. Have a good day, Dad says as he gives the girl her food. I like this have a good day saying, Grandma says. In Korea we say 안녕히 가시po, but it all means the same thing. Only a few more customers trickle our way before lunchtime is over. Heat rises off the sidewalk. Grandma fans herself so wildly it seems as if the leaves on the shade tree are blowing. The rest of the afternoon slowly ticks by. Every now and then, Dad gazes up at the clock tower. Hours pass. No more customers. As the sun sets over the sidewalk, Grandma watches me help Dad hitch up our food cart. Slow business today, Grandma comments. Too much competition now, Mom says, sounding worried. If you look at their faces, how do they look? You can almost see that they look worried, can't you? Summer days pass like blurry buses whizzing by. Every day, Grandma sits on her straw mat and fans herself while I draw pictures. One cloudy day, Mom shakes her head as the 2 other carts set up. Not enough business here for 3 carts, she says. We need more customers. Why don't we move to a new corner? Grandma asks. Because our license says this is our corner, Dad explains. So a license, basically, it allows you to do something. So they have a license that allows them to sell right here. But it used to just be them who had the license, and now there are those other businesses who have the same license, right? And they're selling the same kinds of food, so they're not making as much money. Grandma's forehead wrinkles with concern. Raindrops begin to fall during lunchtime. Umbrellas open like giant mushrooms. People rush by our food cart and into buildings. Worry crosses Dad's face as thunder rolls in. Too many more days like this, and we might have to give up our cart, he says. And go back to Korea? Grandma asks with a wishful look. Grandma, I cry, America is our home now. The ride home that evening is long and quiet. If you look at their faces, how does it look like they feel? They look worried, don't they? You can't see smiles. And if you look carefully, you can see their faces are pretty... It's almost like they have like a set look on their face. Have you ever made that look with your face before? All right. Grandma heads for the kitchen to make dinner. Come help me, Mike, she says. As I help Grandma make the noodles and sauce for chingmyeong, I suddenly have an idea. I tell Grandma and she's excited. Together we make a plan. The next morning, Grandma wakes me up so early the moon is still bright in the sky. Today, we really are going to have a good day, I whisper. Grandma nods, and we tiptoe down the hall. In the kitchen, Grandma opens the refrigerator. She takes out a big piece of beef, 2 heads of cabbage, and all the carrots and zucchini she can find. We slice some of the meat for bulgogi, then marinate the slices in soy sauce, sesame seeds, and garlic. We stir-fry cellophane noodles for japchae, then season the dish to perfection. We roll out dough and stuff mandu. We chop colorful vegetables for bimbap, then whip up the pancake batter for jjim. The noise wakes up Mom and Dad. Why are you two cooking this feast? Dad asks sleepily. Today we're going to have a new menu, I say. Today we'll sell Korean food from our cart. Grandma holds a mandu up to her lips and makes a smile with it. Mom and Dad smile back and laugh. You see what she's doing? What do you think about their idea? Do you think they might be more successful? In the city, after breakfast, we get ready for lunchtime. Mom, Dad, and Grandma grill bulgogi, fry mandu, and flip jjim. Then they begin putting out our Korean delicacies. Mike, why don't you come help us set up? Grandma asks. I'm busy drawing a sign, I reply. I hurry to finish and then hold up my sign for Grandma to see. Have a good day, cafe, I announce. Grandma claps her hands and shouts, Have a good day, cafe. Mom and Dad chime in, Have a good day, cafe. Dad lifts me, and I tape my sign to our umbrella for the whole city to see. Grandma fans herself anxiously as we await the lunch crowd. She fans and fans herself until she's fanning so fast the aromas of our food travel up and down the street and around the corner. Soon a chorus of mmm comes our way as everyone follows the delicious smells to the Have a Good Day Cafe. A long line forms at our cart. One customer orders a bowl of bimbap. Have a good day, Dad says as he hands her the food. A second customer orders a platter of bulgogi and rice. Have a good day, Mom says as she gives the man his change. A third customer orders mandu and a jjim. Have a good day, Grandma and I say together. The line finally dwindles down at the end of the day. With a purple crayon, Grandma waves me over to her straw mat. Mike, let's plan tomorrow's menu, she says. How about naengmyeon, I suggest. I love noodles. Grandma nods. Sounds good. What about some spicy vegetable side dishes? My mouth waters. Yeah. And kalbi, Grandma adds. Yum, I say. I love spare ribs too. Grandma sighs happily. It's been a good day, Mike. A great day, I say, at the Have a Good Day Cafe. Grandma puts her arm around me and hugs me tight. I think she's feeling right at home now. Check out their faces. How do you think they feel? They seem pretty content and happy, don't they? At the end, there's a really cool menu where it shows you how to say different words in Korean, and it shows you the different foods with pictures. I'll include a screenshot of this as a part of your seesaw activity so you can take a closer look on your own, but it's pretty cool. It tells you how to say these different words in Korean. All right. Now, I'm going to have one or two questions on Seesaw for you to answer about this book. I hope you liked this book. I hope that this book is a book that you can connect to and maybe relate to. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to practice a skill, and the skill is a retell. So, when we are doing a retell, you might remember this from first grade. When we're doing a retell, what we do is we break up a story into beginning, middle, and end. So the B stands for beginning, the M stands for middle, and the E stands for end. And for some reason, my cats really want to be a part of this. Lola's behind my computer and Tilly's in front of my computer. All right. So what happens at the beginning of the story? When we're doing a retell, it's a really good idea to go back to the beginning and look at the pictures and the words to help you remember. At the beginning of the story, Grandma and Mike spend time talking to each other, and they also go to the city so that, so that they can work at the food cart, okay? So in the beginning, I'm going to write down Grandma and Mike, Grandma and Mike talk about Korea and food. Right? They talk about Korea and food. Grandma shares memories. So she shares memories with Mike. And then I'm also going to add, they go to the city. Okay, so now what happens in the middle? So what's the next thing that happens? Mike and his family are working at the food cart in the city. They work at the food cart, and what happens? They aren't making money, are they? Because there's competition there. So I'm going to say they do not have customers. And I'm going to say they do not have customers over many days. Okay. They don't have customers. There are other carts and people are not going to their food cart. So they don't have many customers over many days. And because of that, something else I could add is their family is not making money, right? But at the end, Mike and Grandma have a plan, don't they? And their plan is to make Korean food and sell that. And do they have many customers? Yes. So they're really successful. So they decide to continue doing that. So I'm going to say at the end, Mike and Grandma make and sell Korean food instead of American food. They have many customers. And I'm going to add at the Good Day, Have a Good Day Cafe. So they have many customers at the Have a Good Day Cafe. All right, so second graders, what I did is after reading the story, I looked at the beginning, I looked at the middle, and I looked at the end. And I broke down the story into what happens at the beginning, what happens in the middle, and what happens in the end. And I had more than one sentence for each area, and that's okay. For your retell, when you're doing your independent reading story, you might only have one sentence for each. That's okay too. But today, when you're finished reading your independent reading book, and you're going to read that on Raz Kids, you are going to do this exact same thing, the beginning, the middle, and the end for your independent reading book. All right? This is called a retell using the beginning, middle, and end strategy. I hope you enjoyed the book, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your independent reading work today. All right, thank you.